All right, so let's dive into something that's pretty mind-blowing.
Okay.
OpenAI's new O3 model.
Yeah.
Everyone was saying AI progress was hitting a bit of a plateau at the end of 2024, and then bam, O3 drops
Yeah.
and changes the entire game.
Right.
So we've got a fascinating article here that breaks down 5 major breakthroughs with this model, plus one pretty hefty challenge.
Yeah.
We're going to unpack all of that, but more importantly, we'll explore the big question. Is O3 a real turning point for AI, or just a lot of hype?
Well, you know what makes O3 so fascinating is that it's not just generating buzz.
Right.
It's achieving things many thought were years away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a big part of that is its performance on the ARC benchmark,
Yeah.
which, isn't your average AI test.
Right.
This thing was specifically designed by a leading AI expert,
Oh, wow.
François Chalet,
Okay.
to measure actual intelligence, not just mimicking language.
Okay, so like genuine problem solving,
Yeah.
not just regurgitating data.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And O3 really rose to the challenge.
Oh, wow.
It scored a whopping 75.7% under standard conditions. And get this,
Okay.
87.5% with high compute.
Wow.
To put that in perspective,
Okay.
Claude 3.5,
Yeah.
which is a leading model, only managed 53%.
That's a big difference.
That's a massive leap.
Yeah. Huge.
Yeah, it's really incredible.
It is.
It's a testament to the power of O3's underlying architecture and the innovations OpenAI has implemented.
And even Chalet himself, who was initially skeptical about AI reaching this level anytime soon, has expressed his astonishment.
Yeah, he's like, whoa, I didn't think we were there yet.
I know, right?
So let's break down what makes O3 tick.
Okay.
The article highlights 5 key innovations.
Okay.
First up is program synthesis.
All right.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
O3 isn't just repeating what it's learned.
Mhm.
It's actually combining pieces of knowledge in new ways to solve problems.
Like
It's
by
fascinating.
building something new with Legos
Yeah.
that you've never built before.
Yeah, exactly.
With all these different pieces.
And it's not just about memorization. It's about genuine creativity in problem solving.
Interesting.
And that leads us to the second innovation,
All right.
natural language program search.
Okay.
This is where O3 starts to resemble the way humans think.
Okay.
It doesn't just jump to an answer.
Right.
It actually brainstorms different solutions, evaluates them, and then picks the best one.
So it's like considering multiple options before
Yeah.
making a decision.
Exactly.
Very cool.
And it's not just looking for any solution.
Right.
It's looking for the most elegant and efficient one.
That's pretty impressive.
This isn't brute force computation.
Right.
It's about finding the most insightful path to the answer.
So it's not just speed.
Yeah.
It's about quality, too.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's almost like O3 is developing its own sense of what makes a good solution,
Yeah. I mean, that's...
which surprisingly leads us to the third innovation,
Okay.
the evaluator model.
Interesting.
This is where O3 gets seriously meta,
All right.
because it's actually able to judge its own work.
So it's self-aware in a way.
It's incredible.
That's a big step towards reasoning.
This is a significant step towards true reasoning.
Yeah.
Instead of just mimicking data, O3 is trained to recognize what a good solution actually looks like,
Right.
even if it's something it hasn't seen before.
Yeah.
This ability to self-assess is critical for O3's ability to learn and improve over time.
Yeah. Because it can learn from its own mistakes
Exactly.
and successes.
And get this, the fourth innovation is that O3 can actually execute those programs it creates.
Oh.
Those brainstorm solutions we talked about.
Yeah.
It can save them and use them later as tools to tackle other problems.
So it's building upon its own knowledge.
Yeah, it's like building up its own library of problem-solving techniques, which it can then draw on to solve increasingly complex challenges.
That's fascinating.
In fact, the article mentions that O3 has reached grandmaster level on a competitive coding platform, meaning it's outperforming many human programmers. That's wild.
It is.
So it's learning, it's reasoning, it's building its own tools.
Yeah.
Is there anything O3 can't do?
Well, that brings us to the fifth innovation.
Okay.
Deep learning guided program search, which is where things get a bit more complex.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Okay, so O3 uses its training data to judge its own solutions before actually testing them out in the real world. This is a clever way to accelerate the learning process,
Okay.
but it also introduces a potential limitation.
Oh, really? Like what?
Well, what happens if the real world is different from the data O3 was trained on?
Yeah, that's true.
Could it lead to unexpected outcomes or biases in its problem solving?
That's a really good point. It's like O3 might be a whiz kid in the controlled environment of its training data.
Right.
But how will it perform when it has to deal with the messiness of the real world.
Precisely, and that segues perfectly into the big challenge highlighted in the article. Compute costs.
Okay.
O3 is amazing, but it's also incredibly computationally expensive.
Right.
We're talking millions of tokens per task.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And that raises the question,
Yeah.
is this even sustainable? I
Right.
mean, could this level of AI ever be widely accessible?
Mm-hmm.
Or will it always be a tool only available to, like, mega corporations and research labs with massive resources?
That's the million-dollar question, and it's one we need to grapple with as this technology evolves.
Right.
If O3 or models like it are going to truly revolutionize various fields,
Yeah.
they can't remain locked away in the ivory towers of big tech.
So what are some potential solutions? Is there a way to make this kind of AI power more accessible?
Well, OpenAI is already working on a smaller, cheaper version called O3 Mini,
Oh, cool.
which is a step in the right direction.
Okay.
But we also need to think about collaborative approaches, maybe even open source initiatives to make this technology more widely available.
That makes sense. But even if we solve the accessibility problem, there's still the issue of those real-world challenges you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
How do we ensure that O3, with all its power and potential biases, is actually used for good?
That's where the conversation gets really interesting, because ultimately O3 is a tool.
Right.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill.
Yeah.
It all depends on the intentions and the safeguards we put in place.
So, okay, let's talk about safeguards.
Yeah.
What are some practical steps we can take to ensure that O3 and future AI models like it are used responsibly and ethically?
Well, for starters, we need to be having these conversations. Raising awareness about the potential benefits and risks is crucial. The more people understand about how AI works, how it's being developed, and the potential impact it could have,
Right.
the better equipped we'll be to navigate the challenges ahead.
So education is key.
Yeah.
But what about actual regulations or guidelines? Do we need some kind of AI ethics framework to govern the development and deployment of these systems?
Absolutely. We need clear guidelines on data privacy bias, mitigation, transparency, and accountability.
Okay.
We need to ensure that these AI systems are aligned with human values and that they're used in a way that benefits society as a whole.
And who should be responsible for developing and enforcing these guidelines?
Yeah.
Is it governments? Is it the tech companies themselves? Is it some kind of international collaboration?
It's going to require a multi-stakeholder approach.
Okay.
We need experts from various fields, ethicists, policymakers, technologists, social scientists, all working together to develop a robust framework.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, this technology is advancing rapidly,
Right.
and we need to be proactive in ensuring its responsible development.
It's a tall order for sure,
Yeah.
but it feels like we're at a crossroads.
Yeah.
O3 has shown us the incredible potential of AI, and now it's up to us to decide what kind of future we want to create with it.
You know, it's funny. While the article focuses on O3's impressive performance on benchmarks,
Right.
there's another aspect that to me is even more intriguing.
I'm curious, what's that?
If O3 can learn to reason more efficiently, as some experts suggest,
Okay.
its potential becomes almost limitless.
Wow.
Imagine AI that's not just incredibly smart, but also accessible to everyone.
Right.
That's a game changer.
Accessible AI used ethically and responsibly?
Right.
That's a future worth striving for.
Yeah.
And speaking of striving, it sounds like O3 isn't the only player in the game.
Right.
The article mentions that Google, with its Gemini 2 model, and several Chinese firms are hot on OpenAI's heels.
Yeah, the race is on.
The race is on.
It's an exciting time to be following the advancements in AI.
Yeah, it is.
But amidst all the excitement, it's important to remember that O3 and models like it are ultimately tools.
Right.
They can be used to solve some of the world's most pressing problems or to exacerbate existing inequalities.
Right.
The choice is ours.
That's a powerful thought.
Mm-hmm.
It brings us back to that initial question we posed. Is O3 a turning point for AI?
I think it is,
Okay.
but not just in a technological sense. It's
Yeah.
a turning point because it forces us to confront some fundamental questions about the role of AI in society.
Right.
How do we want to use this technology?
Yeah.
What values do we want to embed in it? What kind of future do we want to build together?
These are big questions.
They are.
And they're ones that we can't afford to ignore.
Right.
So listeners, we want to hear from you.
Yeah.
What stands out to you about O3?
Mm-hmm.
What are your hopes and concerns about the future of AI?
Because this is where the deep dive truly matters.
Okay.
We can analyze the technical details all day long,
Yeah.
but ultimately, O3 and AI as a whole is a mirror reflecting our own choices.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh.
It's not just about the technology itself. It's about how we as a society decide to use it.
Exactly. And that brings us back to those core innovations we discussed earlier.
Okay.
Program synthesis, that ability to combine knowledge in new ways. It's exhilarating.
Yeah.
But it also raises the question, what values are we baking into these systems?
Right. If O3 is learning to think like us, are we teaching it to think ethically responsibly?
That's where the evaluator model comes in.
Okay.
It's intended to guide O3 toward good solutions, but good can be subjective, can it?
Right.
Who gets to define what good means in the context of AI?
This is getting deep.
Yeah.
But it's so important, right?
It is.
We can't just assume that AI will magically align with our values.
No,
We have to actively shape its development.
absolutely. And that's where transparency and regulation become crucial.
Yeah.
We need to understand how these systems work, hold developers accountable, and make sure AI is used for the benefit of humanity, not just for profit or power.
It's a challenging task,
Right.
but it feels like we're at a pivotal moment.
Right.
O3 has shown us what's possible, and now it's our responsibility to steer this technology in the right direction.
Yeah, I agree.
What are your final thoughts?
My final thought is this: the real turning point won't be about how smart AI becomes,
Okay.
but how accessible it is.
So it's not just about O3's capabilities, but about who gets to use those capabilities.
Exactly. Imagine a world where this level of AI problem solving is available to everyone, not just a select few. That's when we'll see truly transformative change.
It's almost like O3 is a glimpse into that future. A future where AI isn't just this powerful tool reserved for the elite, but something that empowers everyone.
And that brings us back to you, the listener.
Yeah.
What resonated with you most in this deep dive?
What are your hopes or concerns about a future with AI this powerful? We've explored the breakthroughs, the challenges, the ethical considerations, but ultimately the future of AI is shaped by the choices we make both individually and collectively.
So as you continue to learn about AI, ask yourself, how can we ensure it benefits everyone? How can we use this technology to create a more equitable and sustainable world?
Those are great questions to ponder. And that's a wrap on our deep dive into O3.
Thanks for listening.
Remember, AI is a rapidly evolving field, and we'll be here to break it all down for you every step of the way.
Stay curious, stay engaged, and stay tuned for more.